Hi, I'm Brett King, and welcome to the Pay Symposium. When we think about payments in this day and age, it's pretty crazy that, if you live in the United States, that you have a slower payments slower payments ecosystem than people living in Kenya. 98% of the Kenyan population can send money instantly, mobile to mobile, in Kenya, but in the US we still rely on checks and an ACH automatic clearinghouse technology that takes 3 to 5 days for sending money person to person. This puts the US at least 10 years behind economies like China and Kenya today. But more importantly, when you look at the banking system today and the age of payment systems around the world, the total cost that the economy has to absorb for inefficient payment mechanisms totals about potentially $5 trillion annually, including AML concerns around the transmission of money with cash and so forth. So this is a pretty big deal for us to tackle. Jack Ma, who is the founder of Alipay and Alibaba, has talked about this. He says pretty crazy that today, you can send an email, a text message, these sorts of communications instantly across the world between any two people, but sending money takes so long. We have these monopolies or oligopolies controlling much of the payments networks today. Bank-to-bank payments have been significantly hindered by monopoly players like SWIFT with their messaging system that haven't adapted as quickly as other areas of commerce and business today. So I talk a lot about this in my new book, Bank 4.0. and talk about how payments are going to change over the future. The one thing that I think is really important to grapple with is that banking as a whole and the payments ecosystem that we work with has to become more of a vehicle for doing banking or doing things. When I talk about the future of banking, I talk about 3 core pieces of utility that the banking system provides. The ability to safely store money, the ability to access credit when and where you need it, and the ability to move money or make payments. Now, these are the 3 core functions that the banking system provides for us today. But the challenge with the payments architecture is that we put all these frictional barriers in front of or as part of the ecosystem for moving money around the place. So you first of all have to have a bank account. To have a bank account, you have to jump through these identity hoops, KYC, or as I joke, kill your customers with paperwork requirements to get access to basic banking or a value store before you can send money between banks, for example, or before you can pay at a merchant store if you're not using cash. And so this ecosystem of identity, for example, in the United States, the heavy identity requirements meant to protect us from money laundering and terrorist financing have resulted in the exclusion of about 25% of US households from the modern banking system. So a lot of what we've done in banking in terms of the creation of the bank system and the way we move money about and store money has left a lot of people out. About 3 billion people were excluded from the banking system up until just 2008. Now, what happened in 2008 was we started to see the use of mobile phone technology in enabling people to get access to a basic mobile wallet and basic banking services through a phone. And over 1 billion people have now been included into the financial services system in the last 10 years, just since 2008, as a result of this core technology. But ultimately, when we look at payments, the key thing to remember is not going to be about the barriers to entry that we suffer from today and so forth, because those will largely disappear through technologies like biometric identification, facial recognition, fingerprint recognition, voice signature for voice-based commerce and so forth. The real trick will be how payments will power commerce in the future, being embedded in our world. And this is the experiential side of payments that I hope you guys will consider at this at the PACE Symposium this week, because ultimately the benefit of payments is what it enables us to do, not the payment itself. The payment itself has value in terms of the utility of moving money, but the experience of payments, that's where we have the ability to really change the landscape. Think about analogies for this, like Amazon Go in stores in Seattle and New York, where you can walk in, grab your things off the shelf and go without having to do a distinct cashing out process or payment process. Think about customers in China using KFC. Using facial recognition to pay, using their voice to order, and the payment being just part of that ecosystem for being able to conduct commerce. The best value a payment has is when it happens seamlessly and almost invisibly from a pure friction perspective. And that's what technology is enabling us to do. So the future of payments is seamless, real-time, immediate, contextual, experiential. That's what I'd like you guys to consider today and over the next couple of days at the PACE Symposium. And I thank Bruce Burke for the opportunity to say a few words to you guys. And if you haven't already, check out Bank 4.0. And thank you again, Bruce, for the opportunity.